What is up, guys? My name is Sarcasm, and today I have a triple Moab playing some C-Town domination, and this is honestly one of the best gameplays to date on YouTube from what I've seen. I really did, enjoy this gameplay, and when I saw it for the first time, I was in shock, to be honest. And this comes from a player named Insain. He's also a commentator, and he puts out some of the best gameplay that I see on YouTube, so definitely go sub him up. I'll put his link in an annotation as well as in the description. He definitely deserves some more recognition. I mean, it's a triple MOAB. That's just unheard of. That's ridiculous. I know there's a couple out there, so it's not the first, but it definitely is really impressive. And at the end, his third MOAB is like a 1 minute and 30-second Moab, so overall this gameplay is just ridiculous, and I wanted to share it with my subscribers, so definitely go check this guy out. Once again, his name is Insain, beast player, good commentator, definitely sub him up. So in this gameplay, he's pretty much running the MP7 with extended mags, as well as the silencer, which is a great combination. And personally, I like to use rapid fire, but the way that Insain plays, I've noticed that what he does a lot is not only hit enemies from head on, he tries to flank as much as possible, and flanking is a really big part of his playstyle, as it should be incorporated into anybody's playstyle. But Insain does a really good job of constantly flanking the enemies, getting behind them. So in this case, when he's not in head-to-head gunfights, the rapid fire isn't as necessary. It can be useful, but for him, a player like him who is constantly on the move, is constantly getting behind his opponents and getting them from angles that they don't want to be hit from. So extended mag's definitely a better choice, and there's the first Moab right there. I think it's actually the slowest of the three, and I did cut out a few of the first kills just to make the gameplay a little bit faster. But as I was saying, the extended mag definitely helps him out when he's flanking, so there's less need to reload during flanks and routes overall, so that while he's flanking he could just constantly keep rushing. And that's another thing that I think he did pretty well. Although he wasn't full on rushing, like you think, triple Moab, oh, he had to be running around going crazy the entire game, and this is by no means, a slow-paced gameplay. This is a very fast-paced, entertaining gameplay in my opinion. But he wasn't necessarily rushing. Basically what he was doing, his positioning in this game was excellent, I had to say, because basically what he would do is, find the enemies, find out where they're spawning, where they're coming from, and their general location, etc., and pretty much just post up and wait for them to come to him. And if you combine that part of his playstyle with the flanking, that's together an extremely effective combination, and I definitely commend him. And I really do, I try to incorporate those into my playstyle as much as possible, because I think if you could master those two things, that's what that can make you a really, really good player. So he does that really, really well this game. As you can see, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So he's not necessarily directly in the enemy spawn, but he is right outside of it, ready to take the enemies out as soon as they come rushing towards him. So it's a very effective strategy to take the enemies off guard. You're able to take them when they're kind of not prepared. That's another thing that he does really well. He's always hitting the enemies in gunfights that they don't want to be in, gunfights that are more advantageous for him rather than them. Because you see, like right there was a bunch of enemies grouped up, and he had a better vantage point. This is pretty much what he does throughout the game. He finds a vantage point to sit back behind and wait for the enemies to come to him. So the vantage point could be anything from a staircase, a different piece of cover, or anything really that he uses to get an advantage on the enemy. It definitely worked out really well. Of course, he did get hurt a little bit there. Maybe he should have died, maybe not, but my personal opinion on that is that on pretty much every Moab streak, the person gets lucky at least once, so I feel like he deserved to live there. But yeah, so his positioning was absolutely ridiculous in this game. He was able to take enemies out from behind, and look at this sick turn on. That was nice, very nice. And yeah, definitely go check this guy out. He posts ridiculous gameplay. But the next thing I want to talk about is how he actually moves around the map. I noticed that, instead of maybe moving just through the middle of the map or just running around the outside edges of the map, that's a general saying that people like to say, just stay along the outside edges of the map. But I feel like he uses cover extremely effectively. I see that he's constantly, hugging the walls so that to make certain angles completely available to the enemies. And what I mean by this is, like, sometimes if he knows there's an enemy around the corner, he'll hug the wall so that the enemy won't be able to see him until he's already fully around the corner and able to fire back at them. And this is kind of like the reverse of putting the enemies in, you know, uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable gunfights. He's pretty much doing the opposite. He's preventing the enemies from putting him in situations that he doesn't want to be in. And there's his second Moab. It was a pretty good one, but this is where the gameplay gets really exciting. You see that he's kind of in a crunch for time. He's at 160 points, and his team is 3 caps. So in terms of actually getting the triple Moab, he told me that he didn't believe he was going to get it at this point. So then he just started rushing like crazy, and you'll see what happens. This is just the best part of the gameplay, hands down. So basically, he's just, once again, putting all those 3 things together, and those 3, oh, excellent C4 usage as well. I honestly don't use the C4 too much. I maybe should use it a little bit more after seeing this gameplay, because he did use it pretty effectively. But in terms of, you know, specialist Moab streaks, I feel like the Semtex is a little bit more versatile, but, you know, the C4 definitely has a little bit more power, so it can get those multi-kills, those double, triple kills when it can help. So I don't know, I might be trying out C4 a little bit in the future after watching this game. But yeah, so this is where he starts to go to town. Luckily, he does have a ballistic vest, which pretty much makes him not invincible, but definitely gives him a big advantage that helped him over in this situation. As you can see, he's getting like ridiculously bombarded, and he's able to take them out easy. And he definitely remained cool in this situation. Like, I know that a lot of people, if they're put in a situation where they go up against multiple enemies at once, yeah, they go up against multiple enemies at lunch. When they go up against multiple enemies, they kind of like spaz out. They freak out. They're like, oh, what am I gonna do? Oh, I died. I freaked out. Just stay calm. There's this triple Moab. Obviously, he stayed calm. Look, if this was me, I would be like putting my sensitivity on 10 right now and doing 360 hip fires on the wall, and I would just be going crazy like a triple Moab. This gameplay was absolutely insane. I really enjoyed it. Once again, big thanks to Insain for letting me post this. Definitely go check him out. Fortunately, only one of the Moabs go off, but he does get 77 kills regardless, which is a pretty good score. Definitely go check this guy out. This guy is a beast. Sub to his channel. Once again, link in the description and the annotation. Thanks for watching. Bow!